Hello, Jeb. Over fantastic in this year's stream, I want to share with you, does actually truth exist? And when we start from the end, I believe it does not exist. And now I want to explain why. Well, everything that we learn, everything that we know, 90% even more, is based on rules and equations. And we are telling our truth based on those kind of rules. But let me tell you, let me remind you that every single metric system that we have, you have the gallons, you have the pounds, you have the kilometers, you have the miles, you have the inches, you name it, right? You have the Fahrenheit, you have the Celsius. You name all the kind of things, right? The metric systems. Well, let me tell you that all the metric systems are based on assumptions of someone who is told like, okay, this one is 1 inch. This one is 1 feet or something, or 1 foot or something like that, right? They have to say, okay, let's just name it. This one is 1 pound. And this kind of metric system are based on assumptions. They are not real. And some people say, yeah, man, when I have numbers, everything is so true. I believe numbers. Some people are like say, I'm really analytical, and I believe numbers. I don't believe your words, I believe numbers. I believe the digits. But they don't even know that those numbers, they don't consider, most people who are telling this kind of thing, they don't consider that every single number is foolish. Because every number, even you would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, every number is based on assumptions. So, I can tell you that nobody can prove you that 1 plus 1 equals 2. Even such a really easy equation. Nobody can prove it because there's no proof. Because the whole system is based on assumptions. It's not based on true knowledge. Okay? And human beings are always in search of those kind of mental crooks. Why? Well, even they weren't searching those, they haven't invented things like religion. Okay, one more time. What the fuck? Sorry, I'm back. I don't know what happened with Facebook. Just wanted to log off. So basically, when people weren't on searching those kind of mental crooks, people weren't invent science or religion. Because people always need something, they can kind of push them up to help them then, because they're mentally unstable. Human beings are mentally unstable. When you don't have numbers, when you don't have things like religion that kind of help them up, they can kind of help them to live through life. And because they have these numbers, they have this kind of things like religions, this is what helped them to exist. To have this kind of security, which is actually not true. There's no security in numbers. There's no security in things. Like numbers or things like data, there's no security in it. Not at all. I mean, they guarantee a security of 99.99%, even in science, but the thing is you can never reach the 100%. Because every research is based on past occasions. It might consider the future, but again, they're calculating from the past occasions. They are not seeing this future, it's something new, it's something novel. They are seeing it as a returning past. And this is why they fail pretty often. They are not seeing it as something really new, never have been done. They see it as a past. They calculate everything on the past. They don't consider the future as the future can be. The only considerations are based on past equations, past formulas, nothing new. Nothing new. And this is why the whole systems we have today are foolish. Even we might have an experiment that has succeeded for 1 million times, the 1 million first time, it will fail. Because you cannot guarantee 100% nowhere. It just doesn't exist. Because it doesn't reoccupate, it doesn't consider the future. Same here. For example, you watch a murderer on a cam, right? You see it often in like criminal shows, And you see like a murder happen on cam and someone investigating it. Well, basically they've seen a murder, but even the camera is foolish. Because it doesn't show you the whole picture. It shows you just a small angle. It doesn't show you the backstory. You do not know the backstory by just watching someone get killed. I mean, just for an example, right? Or something get robbed and something like that, but for example. You do not see the backstory. You cannot watch inside of the heart of the culprit and of the victim. You cannot see this. This is why cameras, when we say camera shows the truth, no, it doesn't show you the truth. It shows maybe part of the truth, but not the whole truth. Now, next thing. And even when you watch a camera, you might just try to judge it in a different way as your neighbor does. Because you cannot be 100% aligned with anyone. And the deeper you dig, the more differences you will see on the perception of what just happens in the picture, what just happens in the camera, etc. You name it. So man's whole innovations that we have, whole things that we have, all knowledge that we have, do you truly believe that it is just belonging to this person? Does anything belong to anyone? Do you take it when you die? Do you take your knowledge with you? Yes, when you don't tell anyone. But it's also foolish because you don't contribute to anyone. You don't take anything with you. You leave everything here. You came here with nothing, you will leave here with nothing. How foolish to believe that something belongs to us. It is just foolish. Same goes for, hey, I invented, I don't know, Newton invented, I don't know what he invented this kind of, this experiment thing. Yeah, we know from the history. But the thing is the history true? How many professors has actually not come to this kind of conclusion, have not have this idea, but instead of, they just rubbed in the idea by their own students. They see, the students have the cool idea, and then I just rub it and just put it on the copyright so the student cannot use it, and I can represent and get my money. How many of those cases will happen in the past? This robbery of wisdom. But the thing is, wisdom is actually, you cannot rob wisdom by anyone, because wisdom belongs to no one. In those kind of things, right? Also, like the theories, like Big Bang Theory, everyone's saying, okay, how does the world exist? Like Big Bang Theory, you have the big boom, and everything happens. Yeah, someone who said it has a really good imagination. Let me tell you, those kind of things, this kind of theories that we say like, hey, they are normal, they are not freaking normal. Most of the theories that we are learning in school, most of things that we are learning in school, 90% you don't need it in the first place, and those 90% are just false information. Because most information that we get from school are the dictated information from the country who has won the war. For example, like me here in Germany, when Germany has lost the war, they were dictated by the US government. And you can see it still there. An example, 2015, when all the refugees said, when the US president said, hey, you have to take all the refugees. We take all the refugees. And the thing is, America hasn't taken so many as Germany and other country did, especially in Europe. Just face it. And Germany is still, in Japan also, is still of those countries who are controlled by America. And I don't want to go like in conspiracy side, but it's just obvious that this knowledge that we taught at school, that's dictated by someone else, it's not necessarily true. What we are learning right now. So it's important to ask if it's really the truth. Because as I said to you, truth doesn't exist. But you can kind of get towards it, but not reach it. Now let me tell you that all this knowledge that we have are just habitual knowledge that was forced into by those kind of countries. They made us in a habit. In those kind of theories like Big Bang, it's a production of humans' ego. To show everyone that human beings are the most important beings on this universe. Nobody even considers like things like, hey, maybe there were another civilization before, and based on this prototype humans consisted, and now the world where we're living in, the whole universe, the whole existence that we know, it's also just an experiment. So we are the prototype for something, for next thing that will be even bigger than we are. How about this kind of theory? So the mankind's wisdom, it is even proven that some wisdom that we get is just not really wisdom, but it's just some waves that we get from somewhere sended into our own brain. Now the sended might be other civilizations that we just get information from. If it is the truth, or the closer to truth, then we can say that every ideas that we get are not our own ideas. We get it from somewhere else. So we are not obliged. We cannot make it our own. In fact, we came here with nothing, we go here with nothing. You cannot keep it with you. So you have to share it. That's the only way. Now, as laws representing the truth, laws that we have, well, as everything that is numeric or data-based is actually foolish because it is based on someone's assumption. How were laws created? There was some guy who has the most authority, who would say, this is the law, and everything, yes, it will be the law. Because he screams the loudest. But let me tell you, beside all the obvious things like you cannot kill, you cannot take drugs, I mean, it depends on the country, right? Or you cannot rob others, the obvious one. There are some laws like, hey, when you have, for a certain job, someone has to apply with a certain certification, right? Or with certain qualification. But why there are still cases that some people are taking employees who are underqualified? Why? Because here's a law, I mean, you have kind of this law, you have this kind of guidelines, but you can still escape those. So you can interpret this kind of truth or this kind of law that we have as individual thing of the employer. Because the perception is different of what the law is telling you, what the employer is telling to this employee who's applying right now to this job. I mean, there are some stories, even there are some films, like this kind of with Will Smith, where he was like really poor and applied for a good job. I don't know the title anymore. But those kind of cases exist. He was underqualified like hell, but he was killing it. And even the law is telling you, hey, you don't have to take. He was taken. He was taken. Because those laws do not apply to human behaviors, to human irrational behaviors. And this kind of irrational behaviors are making novelty in this place. And this kind of novelty gives us the progress. So the truth is just what everyone's perceive. So truth is not something subjective, something objective. It is a subjective thing. You cannot make truth as an objective thing. This is what everyone tries to tell us, that this is the truth. But it's not true that the truth is an objective thing. It cannot be. It can be maybe 99.9%, but not the 100. It can never reach the 100. Because it's a subjective thing. Everyone thinks different. So your truth is your thing. And the knowledge that you get from, it's not the true knowledge that you get from. It is not the knowledge you get from anyone. From any kind of authority, from any kind of book, from any kind of seminar, you name it. It is not the knowledge. The knowledge you can only find in yourself. It is like a lotus flower. We take one bit after the other, and you see what is your knowledge, what is your influence that you have kind of put it all yourself and just get from a book or someone kind of authority. And the more you are getting rid of those kind of dust, the more you go to the center, to the pearl, where actually your true knowledge lies. So to be knowledgeable, you do not need any kind of books. You do not need any kind of authority. But you can find your truth just by being yourself. Recognizing, acknowledging, and having the consciousness of being who you are. Now tell me in your comments what your truth might be. We can discuss about it. See you later.